Okay, we're going to go through the iPad orientation that is given at the beginning of the year for students, and this is for students who are unable to attend the iPad orientation or for students who come to the district after the school year has started. So what we're going to do is look at just a basic introduction to the iPad. We're going to look how to find and use the email, set up iTunes, how to add applications, and then just some quick tips to wrap up with. So let's go ahead and get started. First, how we're going to use the iPad. iPad is used in many ways in the different high school classrooms. It's used for research, research papers, writing papers, classroom presentations, note-taking, organization such as calendars and reminders, student handbooks, and a lot of communication back and forth between office and teachers with students. Do you have to have internet at home to use the iPad? The answer to that is no. There are a lot of applications that you can use on the iPad that will not require you to be connected to internet. For example, anything when you're writing papers on a word processor with the Pages application or Keynote or Word or PowerPoint will all be done or can be done without internet connection. If you're using things such as email and the internet browser, which is Safari, those things of course will require the internet connection. Quick overview of the iPad. Of course, some of the main things that you're going to look for is I have circled here, which is going to be the on-off or the sleep-wake buttons. Also the home screen button here at the bottom of the middle of the iPad. The basics here, the sleep-wake button, which is on the top right side, is used to power on the iPad, also used to lock the iPad or power it completely down if you hold it for an extended period of time. To turn the iPad on, again, simply press and hold the sleep-awake button, and what's going to happen is the Apple logo is going to appear on the middle of the screen, which means it's coming on. It'll go automatically to the home screen and you'll be ready to use the iPad. To turn it off, if you're just turning it off, simply press it once. And if you're going to power it all the way down, you're going to press and hold it for a few seconds. Then a little red slide is going to appear. You slide it across, and then it powers all the way off. To unlock the iPad, again, you can simply press the home button or the sleep-awake button, and it's going to prompt you to drag the slider. And if you have a passcode, it's going to have you enter the passcode at that time. To get to the home screen, in other words, if you have an application open, simply press that home button at the middle and the bottom, and it'll take you to the home screen. Screen rotation lock and volume buttons, these are on the side. There's just a slide button that can be used. If you set it up and slide it up, it will actually keep the orientation from going one way to the other. To increase the volume, simply use the volume up, and of course the button down is the volume down. If you go all the way down, it's going to mute the sound. So getting started, let's go ahead and make sure iPad is powered on. If it's not, this should be your home screen, is what I have showing here on the screen. Use your finger to slide the screen to the left going this way, and it'll go to the second page. On the second page here, what you're going to see is a couple of apps. This app is a self-service app. It's going to contain the apps that we send out or we push out to students. So when you open that up, you're going to see what apps are in that folder. We're not going to install apps yet, but we are going to be doing that shortly here. We're going to do email first. So the high school has provided all students with an email account that's associated with the iPad, and it is addressed by using the first name dot last name and then @cause343.org. The password that we have provided that is set up is actually the PowerSchool password twice or repeated, and it's all in upper cases and no spaces in between it. So if my passcode is ABCD for PowerSchool, my email password is going to be ABCD, ABCD. Okay? So if you want to use this email on other devices, you can. It's used through Google, so all you have to do is go to gmail.com. Your username will be up here, first name dot last name @cause343.org, that password that we just mentioned, and you can access your email from any internet-connected device. Okay, to view your email address, if you want to see exactly what it is or see what it looks like, or if you want to add another email that you may have, we're going to go to this area here on the home screen. We're going to touch Settings. Once it's open on the left side, we're going to go down and we're going to touch the Mail Contacts Calendar. And the next screen you should see will be right in here. This is your Exchange account, it will have your email address that we're using. So if you want to add an account, you can add another account, but we ask do not delete this account. Keep this one live. This is your school contact information. Okay, once you open up the email, so if you went back to that home screen and you touch that mail icon, this is what it's going to open up as. If you have it set sideways, you're going to see the emails. Some of them may be opened or unopened here on the left side. Once you touch that, then of course it's going to display in this pane here. If you rotate the iPad more portrait style, it's just going to show you the message you have selected. Some basics here on email on the iPad, and again I'm kind of on that landscape, that sideways view. If you want to compose or write a new email, it's simply going to touch this paper pencil area. If you want to read the email, again you're just going to touch on one of these. If you are composing an email or using the notes, it does have the on-screen keyboard that's going to automatically appear, and depending on the application, it's going to be depending on whether it's appearing or not. But typically, anytime that you need to input data, this keyboard is going to come up on the screen. And looking at it a little closer again to some basics on it, to get to uppercase, you're going to touch this arrow here. If you want cap locks, you're going to touch it twice. Typically when you're writing, if you come to the end of a sentence, if you just double tap your space bar, it's going to automatically insert a period. And it also has on it the voice enabled system, which is, again, if you look down here, it has Siri. So if you want, instead of typing, if you want to speak in the device, you're going to touch this little microphone area. Whatever you speak into the iPad will show up as text or as print in the application that you're using. Also for numbers, all you have to do is touch this area here. You're going to have the numbers appear on the keyboard and symbols also. Other applications that we use, we have Safari, Mail, of course we've mentioned, Photos, Music, Calendar. All those are pretty basic applications for the iPad. Contacts, Notes, and Maps. Contacts, of course, anytime you send an email to someone or receive it, it's going to automatically go in your contacts area. Your notes area, you can quickly hit this icon, take notes for class. Maps, very, very nice if you want to look up an area, if you want to get directions to a location. Other applications you'll find will be videos in this icon, and also iTunes. Of course, iTunes is very popular. It's a place that you can purchase music, audiobooks, TV shows, movies, videos. You can browse and preview many different things from the iTunes store. Paid applications. These applications, Pages, Keynote, and Notability, are ones that the school has purchased for students, and again, they are found in that self-service icon on the second page. Pages, if you're not familiar with that, it is a word processor similar to Word but made for the iPad. Keynote is the same thing. It's similar to PowerPoint, but again, it functions very well on the iPad for students. They tend to use the Keynote a lot for presentations in various classes. Notability is a very unique and versatile note-taking app. It will allow you not only to take notes, but in the notes you can take a picture, have the picture inserted next to your notes. You can put voiceover notes next to your presentations or your notes you're taking for class. And then these can be shared back and forth with other students. Other applications that you might have, the camera, FaceTime, photo booth, clock, reminders, newsstands, all things that you have access to. The one that you do not have access to is iMessage. It tends to cause a few too many problems in the school setting, so it is disabled on the iPads from the school. The App Store, again, this is where students can search the App Store for applications. There are many, many free apps out there, some very useful and very good. There are some paid-for apps that you would need to purchase if you want to that are also very useful. So if you want to get any of the purchase apps that we don't provide for you, you'd have to get an iTunes prepaid card to use in this area. Okay, looking at the settings. Again, from the main screen, if you touch the settings icon, it's going to bring up this pane. In this area, again, it's all in one place. You can connect to your network and then the Wi-Fi. You can go to General and you can add a passcode. Please remember, do not change the name, which is under the About area of the iPad. That needs to remain your first and last name. Set up for the iTunes account. We're going to do that real quick. You will need to open up the App Store. So from this first screen, we're going to touch the App Store icon. You will not need credit card information to set up your account. We do want you to have each student their own individual account. We do not want them to use a shared account. So if you don't have an individual account or you don't have any iTunes account, this is where we're going to set one up. If you do have the iTunes account, just be patient. About 3 slides, you're going to catch up with us. So we're going to open up that app store. We're going to search for a free app. This one is going to be called Dropbox. So we're going to type in Dropbox up here. And then we're going to select Install App, or it may have the words Get there, so we're going to touch that. Then when it opens up, again, we're going to make sure Install the app. This prompt is what we're going to look for. So if you already have an Apple ID, you're going to use existing Apple ID. If you do not have an Apple ID or you do not have your own Apple ID, this is where you're going to select Create New Apple ID. Okay, so for the new Apple IDs, here we go. We're going to go through all of these steps. If you already have the Apple ID, put it in and you're almost finished. We're going to select our country code. We're going to, if you want to scroll through all this and read these pages, you can. If you want to have the agreement sent to you, you can, but we're going to tap Agree here at the bottom. For the new Apple ID, we're going to insert our email address, which is our first.last name at cause343.org, and you're going to need to create a unique password for iTunes. To do this, again, it has some rules to it. For Apple iTunes, it has to be at least 8 characters. You have to have somewhere in this 8 characters, or at least 1 uppercase letter, at least 1, and at least 1 number. So you're going to enter that information. You're going to scroll down. You're going to enter security questions, and you're going to need to remember these. So if you're not sure, you may have to have, you may have to have someone write these down for you. So answer all the questions, go down the bottom, click Next. Next screen that comes up. This is your new account information. For new accounts, we want you to select None on the credit card information. Okay, go down to the billing address, insert your name. Mr., Mrs., Mr., Miss, first name, last name, going all down, putting the information in. For phone number, if you don't want to put your personal phone number, just put the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0, and again, we're going to hit Next. Next, you should get this screen that says Verify Your Account. And again, what we're going to do is we're going to enter our Apple ID that we've created and the password, and we're going to click Verify Address. Okay. Now we're going to go over to our email. So we're going to the home screen, open up the email, this email from Apple, and we're going to have Verify Now. We need to select that. And once we verify the email, it's going to have your iTunes ID created for you. Next thing we need to do is we need to go to Settings. So go back to the home screen, select this setting icon, and we're going to go down to iCloud this time. Make sure that the iCloud information is filled out. If it is not, you need to insert your Apple ID here and your password and then sign into iCloud. Here's the sign in. It's going to ask you if you want to merge information from existing account. You can select merge to that. That brings everything in, which we would recommend. iCloud location, we want to select yes. This will enable you to have the feature Find My iPad, which you will need. Okay, backup and storage. Next, we want to make sure that we select or look at the backup and storage. When we're looking at this, we want to make sure that iCloud backup is turned on. Again, make sure you do not change the name of the iPad. Also, do not remove any of the profiles that are installed. So for application, again, you've already opened many, but again, it's simply touch the icon on the screen. It opens up the application. To close it, we push the home screen button. To delete application, if you touch and hold an application, it's going to start to wiggle just slightly, and there's going to be an X appear. To delete it, you touch the X, it deletes it off the iPad. Understand that deleting an application also means that you delete all the documents and data that have been created by that application. Okay, back to self-service. This again is on the second page. We're going to click self-service. We're going to install an app from here. So we're going to open this up. Inside of this self-service, we want you to install the PowerSchool mobile application. So once you see the screen, we're going to go to Install. Next screen that opens up, it's going to ask you to sign in. So you're going to sign in to your Apple ID. So enter your information here and hit OK. And this screen looks a little different than what you're going to have right now, but again, this is what's going to pop up. We're going to select Install. It may prompt you again for the PowerSchool or your Apple ID password. So hit your password in, the one that you created. Again, that was the one 8 characters long, 1 number, 1 uppercase letter. Okay, so once it's installed, it's going to be somewhere probably on the second page of your iPad, and it's going to look like this. So what we're going to do is we're going to touch this icon to open it. It's going to ask you for a school code. School code for our district is BMKK. Enter that district code. I want you to enter your PowerSchool username and password. PowerSchool, again, this should be the numbers that you have. I believe it's 5 numbers, and the password, I believe, would be 5 letters that you want to insert here, and I want you to sign in. Once you sign in, your schedule is going to pop up. This will have the schedule for the year, both first and second semesters. So to keep this from being so confusing, what I want you to do is up here in this corner, we're going to touch Filter. And when the filter pops up, I want you to select Semester 1. Semester 1 will show you only the classes for this fall semester. And then you need to remember, in January, you want to filter to Semester 2. Semester 2 runs from January to May. Okay, so after I selected Semester 1, this is what it should look like. You should have 7 classes listed here. Now, for more features, what we want to do is look for this little arrow over here. We're going to touch this. The next screen that pops up, it's going to give you a few more options, a few more things you can look at. If you want to find your grades, you can touch here. If you want to see what kind of fees you owe or what your lunch balance is, you can touch this area. Email your teachers or your teacher list is here. Daily announcements listed here. School map, and of course many other items that you can take advantage of. Back to the home screen, looking at the school calendar. If you open this up, you should have all of the high school items preloaded on this. And if there are any changes that take place, it will automatically update throughout the course of the year. You can also add items such as test dates, things you want to remember, birth dates. You can use this to add your own items as well. So quick tips, again, don't use all the iPad storage. Again, it's a 16 gigabyte device. You don't want to fill it up with a whole bunch of apps or your own personal pictures or a bunch of videos. You need to have a lot of that available for what we need to have and work on here at school. Quickly close the application. Again, you can hit the home button, or you can also put your hand on the device and bring it together, pinching the fingers together. That will close it. You can move between apps by swiping with 4 fingers back and forth across the screen to go from one application to another. You can quickly find what apps are open by lifting from the bottom of the screen up. Also, a little key here, be sure to have applications closed to save on battery. To do that, you're going to double click the home button. It's going to show you what apps are open. And then you're going to go through and just slide the apps up off of the screen to close the app. Charging. Your iPad will come with a charger and cable. Small end, of course, plugs into the iPad. The USB end is going to go into the charger. Make sure that the iPad is fully charged at the beginning of the school day. So if you take the device home, you need to charge it at night. Come to school with 100%. If you are not taking it home, you will turn the iPad into the library at the end of the day, which is where your charger and cable will be. You will charge the iPad all night. When you come back to school to pick it up from the library, you should be at 100%. Looking at your cord, we tend to have some problems with these if you don't take care of it. Make sure that as you're unplugging the charging cable from the device, you're going to touch the hardened end. Do not pull on the cable. It's going to break the cable apart and you're going to have to get a new one. They're about $10 a piece. Also, keep the iPad in the OtterBox at all times. Do not remove your name from the inside of the case. It will protect it if it's dropped. So it's a very good case, but it does not protect against water. Also, the OtterBox has a built-in screen protector. If you need to clean it off, just clean it off the same way that you would have felt a cell phone screen. If anything on the OtterBox breaks, such as the stand or the clips on the side, bring it up to the office, and if it's a defective part, we can get it replaced at no cost. Breakage. The $50 fee that you pay is not insurance. It is a take-home fee. It allows you to use the iPad at home during the school year. You need to know that students and parents are responsible for breakage or theft or loss of the device. If you use your homeowner's insurance, if you want to add this, you can. I would highly recommend calling your policyholder, calling the company you have your insurance with, and see what it costs to add it or see what your deductible might be. In some cases, deductible may be more than what the iPad is worth. If you want to add insurance through us, you can. We have that available. It's a $20 policy for the year, a $25 deductible for anything that's broken on the iPad, a broken screen, something stops working on it, we'll take care of it for that cost. Again, be reminded it does not cover the theft or the loss. So do you want insurance or not? This is a picture of a broken iPad. We typically see 2 to 3 broken screens per year. Screen repair usually runs around $100. Fees. We've done some things to offset fees. We have lowered the pay to participate cost. Used to be $50 for every sport. Now it's $50, $30, and $10. Also, we've eliminated the science lab fee for you. Used to be $10 for every science class. When we look at it, the usage fee is $50. Comes to about an average of just a little over $5.50 per month to have the iPad at home. Also, we do allow payment plans for the $50 usage fee. You can pay $10 a month. Every month you'll receive an invoice emailed to students and parents. You just make sure you pay it so it can continue to go home. How do you connect to internet at home? You're going to need a wireless router for the iPad to connect to. And again, if you don't have a wireless router, you can pick those up at any electronics store or electronics department that you might go into. It is recommended that once you have the wireless internet or router at home, that you do make sure you have a password to protect the connection at home. Be aware that if you do connect at home, we have filters in place here at school for the devices. It is on our internet system, our network. However, if you take the device home, understand that any filters you have would be on your network. So if you do not have filters at home, the iPad will be able to go anywhere that any of your other devices on your home network will be able to go. So don't think that the school iPad will have filters when it comes home and connects to your home network. Be aware of that. If you're worried about those things, we have some recommendations. You can limit the time of use. We have some parents that choose to take the iPads at nights, have it charged in the room, so it limits the access. Also, we have parents that set timers for their internet connections. And again, to connect to home network, it's under settings off that main screen, and then go to Wi-Fi, and you should be able to see the network you want to connect to. Again, thing to remind, the iPad belongs to the school district, not to the students. So parents, you are encouraged to use the iPad. Pick it up, check for grades, email teachers, check daily announcements, look at the school website. Also, if there's any misuse at home, don't hesitate to take the device away from the student. We've had parents call before and request to have the iPad checked in and out for a week or 2 weeks. We can certainly do that. We've had requests to limit what's available on the iPad to students. We can do that also. Can you use your own device? Yes, you can, but it does need to be an iPad, whether that's an iPad 2, 4, Air, or even an iPad mini. You can't use a laptop Kindle because the apps that we're using in the classroom are not the same. So you're more than welcome to use those other devices and the devices at home. Check the iPad in and out of school if you want to. Blackboard is one of the apps that we use. I wanted to mention that because we're using that more and more each year. 2 ways to access Blackboard. One is there an app on the App Store called Blackboard Mobile. It's a great way, easy view to see what's in the classes. For tests, however, and until they get a new application coming out, anytime the students can be taking tests on the iPad through Blackboard, they will want to go through the Safari browser and use this web address, usd343.blackboard.com. Dropbox is another common app that we use. The best way I can describe it, it's kind of like a flash drive that's in the cloud. So you basically store your information, your documents in the cloud. You can access it through the Dropbox app on the iPad or by going to any computer and going to dropbox.com. The Dropbox does work very well back and forth with Blackboard. Use your email. The office will communicate a great deal with you through your email back and forth, so will teachers. Check it many times per day. If you have questions, feel comfortable, go see your teachers, of course, or you can email your teachers. So how can I access files that I create on Pages and Keynote? Quick way to do that is go to any computer. You can go to iCloud.com and log in with your Apple ID and password. You can access those documents that you've created. Also, you can use the Find My iPad application, which is very useful to help locate where your iPad is as long as it's connected to an internet. And also, it'll show the location on the map, and you can play sound on that iPad to help you locate it. If you want to go check out some quick tutorials and some of the different apps that we use, you can by going to these web addresses. Also, you can, if you want information or quick help on the iPad or any of the apps that we use or any apps that are out there, you can go to youtube.com and search for those, and you're going to find a lot of how-to videos and help videos there for that. Questions. If you have questions on this, don't hesitate to call, email, stop by the office. We'll be sure and help you any way that we can on the iPad. And again, make sure when you're finished watching this, you do have the student pledge sheet signed. It has to be signed by the student and the parent. If you wish to take the iPad home, again, that $50 tech fee does in place, and then you'll receive that charger. And then finally for that, if you're not paying the tech fee, you will turn in your iPad, return it in and out, check it in and out of the library each day. And that's it.